This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Also being heard on translator K266CC Cheyenne at 101.1 FM.
As Cheyenne's weather turns warmer, dust and pollen can become a problem for those with allergies, asthma, or respiratory issues. And the last thing you want in the summer heat is poor air quality in your home or office. So it's time to turn to Marv's Plumbing and Heating. That's right, Cheyenne's most trusted plumbing, sewer, and heating business also services air conditioning. Marv's Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue, can handle all your air conditioning needs. Give them a call, 316-7634. That's 316-7634.
Is your teenager ready to drive?
Come on, Mom, let's go.
Sorry, you're not ready to drive yet.
What? Come on.
You need to complete a driver's ed class first.
The Wyoming-Montana Safety Council offers a complete driver's education program taught by Tim Woodard, former Laramie County School District's driver's ed teacher. Classes are starting soon. Please call 635-4592 to sign up or go to wmsafetycouncil.org. Wyoming-Montana Safety Council. Think safe, live safe.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
And this afternoon's edition of Wyoming Sports Talk Today being brought to you by a plethora of good folks. Marv's Plumbing and Heating at 1515 Logan Avenue. The Wyoming-Montana Safety Council, 635-4592. Mondello's Pizzeria, 7 days a week. Joe's Delicious Cuisine, being served up at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. Across the street at 1508 Stillwater Avenue, it's First Tier Bank. Banking done the old-fashioned way, customer service. Monday through Friday, talk to them about their special CD rates with great APYs right now. Lennox Auto Body and the Auto Glass and Detail Center. The Auto Body Shop over on Dunn Avenue, the Auto Glass and Detail Center on Pershing Boulevard.
Yeah, they're probably busy right now with the road construction going on around town and some of those rocks kicking up.
They were already busy with the hail.
Yeah.
So, matter of fact, I was overseeing a good buddy of mine today over at Gill Whittle Company. They're busy with the hail. So this will be going on for quite a while. Medicap Pharmacy over on Bluegrass Circle next door to Texas Roadhouse. Platte Valley Bank ×2 with the original location on Vandehei for the north side. East Siders, you can check them out at the corner of College and Pershing, Platte Valley Bank. Key of Cheyenne, my great friends over there, AJ and Greg Miller and the entire crew, I invite you to come on by, kick a few tires, take a test drive of the 18s. They need to go. The 19s are kind of pushing their way this way, so we need to move them out now, and you'll find some good deals over at Key of Cheyenne. Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Delrange, Ray and Cindy's place, and they are directly across Menards. We know them for lunch, we know them for dinner. You need to stop. School will be getting underway next week. Grab some breakfast. We got 2 convenient drive-thrus always at Chick-fil-A, Windmill, and Delrange. Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service on Highway 30, your home for Jayco RVs and fifth wheels. And again, you're going to find some closeout deals going on right now. And of course, Taco John's of Cheyenne. Loaded potato lays. Yesterday was Taco Tuesday.
You had your chance yesterday, and today, guess what? There was no Taco John's in front of me. What happened? I told you yesterday on the show that I wanted it today, and
well, first off, I don't like you. Anyway, sirloin steak burritos right now for breakfast as well as for lunch. And of course, if you are heading home and you don't feel like cooking, or you're going to call the wife up and say, "Hey, you know what? Stick a fork in that. We're going to do 6-pack and a pound tonight." You can do that from Taco John's. We kick off our program with our scoreboard, and it's brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne. Let's go over to Nick because he's got a packed scoreboard he wants to talk
don't
about.
give me that, because again, there's been days when you have nothing on your side of things, but I do have something today, at least on local side, happening here in Cheyenne with LCCC women's volleyball. Will be underway. Regular season starts up tonight over at the Rack. They will take on Trinidad State Junior College. That contest will get underway at 6 o'clock tonight. Again, regular season volleyball with LCCC tonight over at the Rack. Go support the Lady Golden Eagles as they are in action again. The nationally ranked number 12 team in the nation in NJCAA action.
Major League Baseball, they've moved to the top of the ninth inning in Chicago at Guaranteed Rate Field. White Sox leading the Minnesota Twins 7-3. Final that is in. The Brewers have blanked the Reds today at Miller Park 4-0. Rangers in the middle of the fifth inning with the Athletics at the Oco, and they lead 4-0. Now they've moved to the bottom of the fifth. A's only with one hit. And the Astros on the other side of the coin, they're winning right now on the top of the fourth inning at Safeco as they lead the Seattle Mariners. That division between the swinging A's and the Astros now tied as we move into today's action. Another final that is in from the Rogers Center. Blue Jays have blanked the Orioles 6-0. Getting underway when we get done, it will be the Phils at the Nats, Braves and the Pirates, that is, at PNC. It will be the Indians and the Bo Sox once again. Red Sox currently on a 3-game losing streak. Cubs and the Tigers at Comerica. Giants and the Mets, they'll wrap up their series at Citi Field.
Buster Posey less Giants as he will be having season-ending hip surgery coming up.
He's been bothered by that ever since the All-Star break.
Yep.
So that's not good news to hear. It will be the Yankees and the Marlins. I mean, basically, that just tells me the season.
Their season's already done. We have to face the fact.
Yeah, Royals. Well, we got to go for the swinging A's now. Go right across the bay. Royals and the Rays in the Trop 6 o'clock game. Can the Padres beat the Rockies
They
again?
did it last night.
Very good possibility. The last place Padres in the West. John Gray will get the call for the Rocks. Jacob Nix will toe the rubber for San Diego. It will be the Halos and the Diamondbacks at Chase Field in the 7 o'clock hour. The late game at Dodger Stadium, the Cardinals and the Dodgers, and they will get things underway at 8 p.m. And you know who's on the mound for the Dodgers?
Who cares?
Bueller.
No.
Bueller.
Again,
Walker
Dodgers
Bueller.
go away.
My boy.
I
All
don't care.
righty. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
This is the Pepsi that's got a date with your taste buds. We're talking 1,000 bubbles dancing a two-step with you and 2 tacos at 2 a.m.
Order number 83. Come on, you're up.
This is the Pepsi that has mastered the art of the late-night munchies and is always down to dig into some deep dish.
Hey, we don't do deep dish, capiche?
Try telling that to Chicago. This is the Pepsi for po' boys, pulled pork sliders, and the godfather of all sandwiches, the Godfather. This is the Pepsi for street carts, anything a la carte, and is dying to make the leap into your grocery cart. Come on, take us home with you. This is the Pepsi for those who are forever fun. This is the Pepsi for every generation.
Chick-fil-A is a proud supporter of our high school athletes at East, Central, and South. May the school year bring success to all of you. Before you start your day, stop by Chick-fil-A for a hearty, delicious, and satisfying breakfast. Only at Windmill and Del Range. Breakfast is served Monday through Saturday from 6 in the morning till 10:30 a.m. Breakfast with Chick-fil-A, the most important meal of the day at Windmill and Del Range.
This year marks the 175th anniversary of the first major migration west across the United States along the Oregon Trail. The trail runs through central Wyoming along the North Platte River from Torrington to Casper, then over South Pass and onto the west coast. Travelers favored this route because of the ease of crossing the Continental Divide. All told, as many as 500,000 men, women, and children would travel the trail. Independence Rock, Register Cliff, Devil's Gate, and the Parting of the Ways were major landmarks along the trail in Wyoming, helping to guide travelers west. This is Mike Strom bringing you a moment in history from the Wyoming State Archives.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
For today, it'll be partly sunny with a possible thunderstorm in the afternoon with highs around 72. Then for tonight, it'll be mostly cloudy with lows around 53. On Thursday, it'll be mostly sunny with highs around 79 and winds out of the west at 10 to 15 miles per hour. And on Thursday night, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 50 and winds out of the northwest at 15 to 20 miles per hour.
You're listening to Cheyenne's new Sports Talk Authority. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today on AM 1480 K-Ray.
Welcome back to Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and as the Knickser put on our page today, I guess, I say to you...
Multiple pages.
I say congratulations. 1 year. Pops and son have done this program, and we have not yet killed each other, so I think that is something,
I haven't done it
something
in 20,
to be said.
I haven't done it in 28 years. That's just being said. But again,
our special guest Jerry Schlabs will probably relate to me. I brought you in this world. I can definitely take you out. You got that right. Get a little closer to the microphone. We have it's our athletic directors week. We have Cheyenne East AD Jerry Schlabs, and again, even though it's week 0, we still have fall sports going on. But let's highlight your summer. You were busy a lot with your youngsters, and more importantly, your son with baseball.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a lot of baseball and a lot of basketball this summer with both my son and daughter. Our baseball team, who also includes Chad Whitworth, the athletic director from Central. His son plays on that same team, and Tag Lane was our coach this year, which he did a nice job. And those kids had a good summer. Kind of started out slow, got better as the summer progressed, and then ended up winning the Colorado State Championship. 37 teams, the only Wyoming team, and back-to-back state championships for the Wyco 13. So it was a fun summer.
Is this something? And again, I hope to be around. I know Nick hopes to be around as well. Is this something that we come on board here a couple, 3 years from now, and we say, hey, now members of the American Legion, is that what we're trying to do? We're priming both yours and Chad's son to get to that next level.
Yeah, absolutely. All those kids we have some quality kids, and a lot of kids that have been together with us. Chad and I actually started coaching these kids, with a lot of those kids when they were in Little League at 8 and 9 years old, and so we coached them until they were 12s, and then the Wyco coaches took over this past year. And like I said, it was a fun season. It was kind of an up and down season at times, but boy, they had a great state tournament, and there's some quality kids and some quality baseball players, and so yeah, they're gonna jump into that post 6 program next year, and who knows where they'll end up, but yeah, definitely over the next few years we're gonna hopefully see a lot of those familiar names.
Does that make up a little bit, both for you and Chad, with your children being involved in athletics now? And I know when Nick was involved, as well as my daughter Marissa, I kind of stepped away from the play-by-play because I wanted to make sure I could be at all of the events. But, for you and Chad, you both had very good coaching careers at your respective schools, you at East and Chad at Central. And once in a while you get that coaching bug crawl back inside of you. Do those summer type programs, when you and when your son was going through the Little League area, does it kind of appease that appetite to get back and coach again?
Oh, absolutely. It's what I really enjoyed. We've both coached not only baseball but basketball, and I still coach both my son and daughter's basketball teams. I coached them all I coached the football team through the Parks and Rec Youth League all 4 years, and so that's a lot of fun, and it does kind of keep that competitive spirit in you, and I'll continue doing basketball probably for 2 more years, I guess, before we turn both my kids over to the high schools. But at the same time, boy, this summer when we could just sit in the bleachers and kind of watch the game and not have to worry about anything, it was very enjoyable, and I really love that as well. You can kind of kick back and just kind of be a cheerleader and cheer for not only your son but all the other kids on the team. So it was a blast, and we had a lot of fun.
Especially for both programs, again, with Post 6 and also 2 Cheyenne Mustangs that did have fantastic years at least this summer in baseball in their respective leagues. But something that we talked, at least off air with you, Jerry, and we talked with Ron Laird, again, Wyoming High School Athletics Association Commissioner, earlier this week. Something that has been brought up, again, with baseball, a little bit tough to get it on the high school ranks, again, with scheduling, and also too with the issue of weather out here in the state of Wyoming, but he was very positive and very hopeful with the thought of softball coming to the at least high school ranks. Is that something that for you as an athletic director, especially over at Cheyenne East, where we do have already successful programs with the Cheyenne Extreme and also to the rec leagues around this town, but is that something that you as an athletic director very excited to possibly bring over to the Cheyenne East at least athletic program, at least department?
Yeah, I think so. It's there's been a push a few years back, and there wasn't as much interest as there is now, and obviously baseball and softball. Baseball, we obviously have the best program in the state of Wyoming, and softball we do as well. I mean, they just do a great job, and there's so many kids involved. And from a high school standpoint, with any of our activities, you just want kids doing stuff. You want them to be involved in activities or sports. And if it gives us an opportunity, once again, to get more kids involved and give them the opportunity to play softball, I know the Cheyenne community is a great backer of softball, and I've been asked numerous times about getting softball in. I've kind of explained to them, it's going to take a kind of a state effort to make sure that we do that. We're very lucky within our district that they support activities and sports like they do. They do a great job, and so while there'd be some things we'd have to transition to, I think there's more talk going on now that there ever has been, and so I think it's a real possibility in the coming years to have softball. And like I said, it is exciting. You worry about, will it take away from soccer or track and our other spring sports, but those kids that are playing softball right now are playing softball during those times anyway. So I don't think it'd have a major effect on those sports after thinking about it a little bit. And like I said, if it gives the opportunity for more kids to be involved, then that's always a positive thing.
Going more into the technical aspects with softball, is it a situation where we do have great fields around, whether it's Converse that's already been used by Cheyenne Extreme, but is it something where if it does come to fruition and Cheyenne East does adopt a softball program for at least in the high school ranks, is that something where you as an athletic director would like to have just a own field over there at East High, or is it something where we already got great fields with at least Converse, or maybe, for instance, if they go over to Bremer, something like that, to say that's your home fields for Cheyenne East? What would kind of be preferable for you?
It's always a great thing to have your own place, obviously, but in a situation like this, I think it would be fantastic to use. The city's done a tremendous job, like you said, especially with the fields over at Converse. They've made some championship parks, and the Bremer fields, of course, they're good. They're good as well, and so they've done a lot of positive things with the fields, and that's even coming from my days of playing softball there myself. And they've done some really nice things with those things. And so I think, at least the initial part would be we'd be wanting to play at those city fields, and we have a great partnership with the city. Mr. Bartlett does a fantastic job from the district side of things of working with the city, whether it's us golfing on their courses or them using our gyms for volleyball and the city league things that they use them for basketball. And so I would imagine that partnership would continue, and I would guess the first few years anyways, you would use Bremer and you would use Converse, and ultimately maybe there would be a goal to someday have a park of your own that you can call your home. It's always nice to have your colors. It's always nice to have your school spirit, your community spirit, and kind of put a stamp on that. But at the same time, as you guys know, there's no funner place to play than Story Gym, and that's a citywide gymnasium, and they've done some amazing things down there, and that's a blast to play at as well. So I think it'd be positive no matter what.
We're talking with Jerry Slavs, East High Athletic Director. Jerry, the nice thing that happened in the offseason was a lot of movement, and all three schools were involved. East seemed to have most of the movement with soccer on the ladies' side, and of course both boys and girls basketball. So, I guess the question is you got Rebecca in on the soccer side. That was kind of I guess if we would agree, that could be a no-brainer that you brought Rebecca over. You move Rusty from the women's program to the men's program, and then you bring Wesleyan up, who was on the bench with Rusty Horsley. But it seemed like on the basketball side, you took a lot longer on the decision-making process. Explain why it took a little bit longer.
Well, I'll tell you, when the changes started to happen, we knew we had a good group of, you kind of throw out, and from an athletic director standpoint, when Coach Bailey resigned, then you start throwing out names and you start going, okay, what are we looking at? And in my opinion, when I threw out the names of a lot of our coaches that have coached in the past, whether they were assistant or head coaches, that have been a part of girls and boys programs, and I didn't attach girls or boys to the names. I just kind of was looking and threw names out that I know were possible coaches that might have interest in getting back into it. We've had some coaches that coached basketball that had kids. Well, now their kids are 3, 4, 5 years old, and they're a little bit older. And we had some coaches who I knew might be interested in getting back into it. And so the thought process between myself and talking with Mr. Merritt, our principal, and Mr. Kress, our activities director, was I go, there's a lot of names out there, and that doesn't include the people who may be interested in applying that we don't know about.
From the outside,
yeah,
right.
From the outside. And so I felt really confident. I'm like, okay, we may have to shuffle some people. Maybe we have a person who's done boys the whole time. That'd be a great JV girls coach or vice versa. But I felt, we had enough names on the table that we could completely make, changes here and there, but at the same time, not only have, great coaches in our programs, but even make our programs stronger. And, after the whole process finished, and time will tell, but I feel like both of our programs are in great spots and possibly stronger from top to bottom, and nothing against the way the programs were in the past. But just like I said, it was just the timing of the things with some of our coaches that have coached in the past that were ready to come back. as well as being able to get somebody like Coach Horsley to lead our boys program. And at the same time, even though Coach Westling was the sophomore coach, he was kind of Rusty's right-hand man, just because, Chad Goff was our JV coach, and he, of course, had a priority with football a lot of the year. So Coach Westling was Rusty's right hand since he took over the program. So it was a great fit for him as well. And so we were very, very excited about those coaching changes.
Well, real quick too, and we had this discussion off air, and I've been around long enough to know too, when you have a coaching change, and maybe you are looking for somebody from the outside, first and foremost, you want to get them in on the East roster as far as, in the building to be a teacher. I think, and I might be wrong, and there are maybe a couple exceptions to the rule these days, but for the most part, I think we have most coaches sitting in the buildings where they are working at. So, for example, we'll use Rusty, for example, teaching at Cheyenne East, right?
Absolutely.
So, and again, Central would like to, have their teachers over there. South would like to have their teachers over there. As a matter of fact, I think Jeff went over there and got a teaching position over at South. I remember back in the days, I remember a football coach that we had at East ended up being assistant coach at Cheyenne Central. Does that kind of make it a little weird at times when you're seeing that assistant coach in your hallways and he's going to go over to the enemy to go coach football or be an assistant coach? Does that kind of rub people the wrong way sometimes?
I don't know if it necessarily rubs them the wrong way, but yeah, it's not really necessarily awkward, but it's just not the best situation, I guess. And it's we have coaches that aren't in our building that are elementary teachers that do a great job, but you just can't substitute being in the building in the hallways every day. And if in a best case scenario, you would have every one of your coaches in your building, and I think that all the ADs and principals would agree with that. And it's impossible these days just because you don't have enough coaches, and it's, as you guys know better than anybody, it's a grind. It's turned into year round for everything pretty much, where you're coaching during your season, but then you have to train and you have to do off season things. And so at the high school level, obviously their full-time jobs or their teaching jobs or whatever jobs they may hold in the community, and those are that needs to be their priority, as it should be. But at the same time, like you said, just being able to build those relationships, because that's what it's about at the high school level, pretty much at any level, I guess, but building those relationships, and you just have more opportunities. You get to see them, if you're outside of the building, you only get to see them at practice. And then as a coach, you might be, quote unquote, barking at them the entire practice. And that's all they ever see of you, where if you're a teacher in a classroom, they see a different side of you. When you're in the hallway, they see a different side of you. Our coaches that aren't in the building do a great job of being visible and being a part of activities and other sports in our community and our school, and that makes a big difference. But really at this level, it's 100% about building those relationships with kids. And as you guys know from your high school days, way back when for us is not so much for Nick, I guess, but
it's 10 years ago.
Yeah, but for us, that you may remember some of the wins and losses, but you remember what you did with your friends, and you remember those trips and those bus trips and those things. And so any advantage you can get, and being in the building is a big advantage to build those relationships with kids.
And especially for those coaches, it is the utmost respect for what they do, especially around either at East, Central, or South. Again, it is with these coaching duties, again, it is taking on a second full-time job. It is a full year-round effort on their
commitment.
behalf.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, I wanted to go back really quickly to basketball, at least the topic there, where at least we were talking off air, and it's something that has been announced. But for East Regionals, Cheyenne East will be hosting over at the Thunderdome. For you as an AD, what does that mean to you, at least being able to host a regional tournament in your home gym?
Well, it's so exciting, and the one change is now that we're hosting the regionals, we are going to host those at Story Gym for the most part, because they've done such a great job of making Story Gym such a great community event center per se, I guess. But you don't have the distractions of parking and passing periods during the day and those types of things. And Mr. Bartlett in our district has done a good job upgrading the scoreboard in there, and of course we have that neat video board, and you have separate locker rooms, and they're doing a huge remodel on the concession area this year, and so that's going to be done soon. And so we're very excited. Obviously, you love hosting at your school, but at the same time, it's so great for the community to be able to host those events. I mean, we talk a lot you don't really realize it so much. And, we have the opportunity multiple times with South and Central and East being in the same city. It's a big deal to us, and it's a really big deal for towns like Evanston and those places that have one school and they get a host once every 6 years. And they're big events, and it's a big event for us. This year, the bracket's going to change, so the format of the regional changes for volleyball, basketball, and track a little bit. And so our basketball tournament's going to be a little bit bigger basketball tournament. So
and no more one and done, right?
Right, no more one and done. It's going to be a double elimination tournament similar to what 3A's done in the past. And so for those basketball lovers, it's going to be a really fun event. And like you said, Nick, we're unbelievably excited. It's always fun to host. It's always fun to be able to see our kids in our community and the kids in our school. And it does give you a little bit of advantage and a little bit of ownership of that regional tournament when you're the team that's hosting it.
And back in the old EWAC days when I first came here, it was Central and East hosting out at Story Gym. So, again, this is not unfamiliar turf to both you and Athletic Director Chad Whitworth. We're going to take a timeout. We're going to come back. Jerry's going to hold you over. We're going to start getting back into it's already fall sports season time. So we'll talk about that when we come back after these words right here in 1480 K-Ray.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner. Do you have a big remodeling project in mind? Then the best tool for you is a home equity line of credit from Platte Valley Bank. Whether you are remodeling, making home repairs, or expanding, a home equity line of credit can help you finish that project. Stop in and we'll show you the hidden value in your home with a home equity line of credit from Platte Valley Bank.
Some restrictions may apply, subject to credit approval. Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The time is now, and the place to go is Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service for their annual model clearance sale of Jayco RVs and fifth wheels. This is your year to travel the countryside, and what better way with your Jayco RV from Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service. And to put you on the road today, save 30% on their annual model clearance. Their savings are always the best on whatever model you select. Come see and take home your favorite today when you buy from Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service at 6102 East Highway 30 in Cheyenne, or go online to jollyrogersrvs.com.
Is your teenager ready to drive?
Come on, Mom. Let's go.
Sorry, you're not ready to drive yet.
What? Come on.
You need to complete a driver's ed class first.
The Wyoming-Montana Safety Council offers a complete driver's education program taught by Tim Woodard, former Laramie County School District's driver's ed teacher. Classes are starting soon. Please call 635-4592 to sign up or go to wmsafetycouncil.org. Wyoming-Montana Safety Council. Think safe, live safe.
Cowboy fans, don't miss any of the action in Laramie this Labor Day weekend. The Cowboy Kickoff Concert, presented by Toyota of Laramie, returns Friday, August 31st, featuring Brothers Osborne and special guest the Cadillac 3. Then on Saturday, Cowboy football returns to War Memorial Stadium for the 2018 home opener against Washington State at 1:30 p.m. Get your tickets today at gowyo.com or call 307-766-7220.
When it comes to sports talk in Cheyenne, it's a whole new ballgame. Let's play ball! You're listening to Wyoming Sports Talk today, and it's only here on AM 1480 K-Ray.
We're back with Jerry Schlamp, Cheyenne East Athletic Director. You know, Jerry, it's like once the calendar flips over to August, just right after Frontier Days, boom, it's you're technically working nonstop because fall sports are reporting, and some fall sports actually get started before the football season. For example, golf. Paul Hardigan again putting out another group of good kids that are having fun on the golf course. Blake Danny here most recently. So tell us a little bit about the golf program off and running.
Well, like you said, no one hits it harder than golf or quicker than golf and tennis. I mean, they come back the same day football does. Football, of course, doesn't have a game for 2.5 weeks. golf has a tournament in 3 days after they start. And obviously those kids, like we talked about before the break, they all have been doing things all summer long. And so they're ready to go. But golf starts right away. Tennis started this past week as well. But our golf team, boy, are we excited about it. It's they had a tough break last year at the state championship. They were right there. They ended up second place. Had a first place kind of wrapped up and in their hand, and had an error on a card, and it ended up going the other way against Kelly Walsh. And it's going to be a battle with Kelly Walsh again this year. You know, there are some other quality teams obviously out there. Central's always good, but we have some quality kids back. We lost, I believe, maybe two kids off of our team last year, and we're filling them in with some very quality, experienced kids. So yeah, our first tournament, we go get second to Kelly Walsh, and up in Gillette. Played okay, but not great, at times. Blake Danny, like you said, he won that tournament and didn't putt very well. I just talked to Coach Oswald at who's one of our assistants and our head girls coach. I talked to him at our coaches meeting last night, and he said, yeah, I mean, he goes, he putted terrible and still ended up winning the tournament, but he goes, God, he could have been probably, 10 strokes lower than he was. And then Kelly Walsh wins. And then we go this last week, like you said, and Blake Danny has another championship, and he's just golfing great. And what a great leader. He's pushing the kids, and he's kind of raised expectations even with some of our younger kids. But we go to Casper, and we're playing on Kelly Walsh's home course, which is kind of a big deal. And, we just kind of take it to him. The kids golf great. You got great contributions from, not only our top golfer, but our fifth golfer as well. And so we're very excited. We host the state tournament this year. Cheyenne hosts it, and that's an advantage, obviously, when you get to play on your home course. We're going to be playing at the airport golf course, so it's going to be a chance for hopefully the Cheyenne community to go out and see some great golf. And we have some high expectations, and we're very excited for our golf team. And we also, the boys obviously kind of overshadowed. We didn't have a full girls team last year, but we have great numbers this year, and we have some great young girls that are doing some things as well. And they're probably not going to be competing for a state championship, but Coach Harding and Coach Oswald have done a good job of kind of keeping that program not only going but building it and building the girls program as well. And so we're excited for both the boys and girls, and we hope to see our boys compete for a state championship.
Regarding that state tournament as well too, Coach Hardigan did reach out to me via social media that he wants to notify folks that they are looking for scorekeepers and volunteers as well too for that state tournament coming up in September. So again, to at least become a volunteer, he's just asked for folks to either reach out to himself, Paul Hardigan, or either Mike Lepore, the head coach over at Cheyenne Central, if you are interested in being a scorekeeper or a volunteer for the state tournament.
Jerry, and I think back to when both my children were going to Cheyenne East, and again, not to age us a little bit, but you've been on the job for a long time, and it seems like every year it gets different. And I don't mean different, but there are different things that crop up throughout the course of the year. You always offer to parents, guardians, before the seasons kick off, you have a parents' night. What are some of the things that you try to express to the parent or the legal guardian of these youngsters that are student athletes at Cheyenne East? What is the main message?
It's kind of what we talked about with the coaches. We just want them, of course we want to provide them information. We want to communicate with them, any of the things they may have questions about, rules, procedures, practice schedules, game schedules. How can we find out things from our website, from now Facebook and Twitter, of course, and a million other things that you can get information out to people. And so we obviously do that. But at the same time, for us, and for my parent meeting, it's a little bit different. We try to have a lot of fun. We kind of had a 70s night for our parent meeting this year, and we had some 70s trivia. And at the same time, obviously, we covered some fall sports. But we want to get the parents excited and the kids excited about things. And so we sing and dance a little bit. We obviously talk about policies and rules, and then we split up within our individual programs, and we let our coaches talk about expectations and get a little bit more serious about that. But we really want to sell our community and want them to be a part of our culture and our community and our triad. And we've tried. I was talking to Mr. Marich today. We've really tried to make our triad, our East Triad, even though there's 3 schools in Cheyenne, we've tried to make it a small school atmosphere, a small town atmosphere, I should say. And from the kindergarten level up to the senior level at the high school. And we want those people to feel welcome. We want them to feel safe. And we talk about that with our parents. We want their kids to know that there's a lot of kids in our school that have their back, that have their kids back, no matter if they're in the band, if they're in no activities, if they're on the football team. And we really try to push that with our kids as well. we really try to talk about multi-sport athletes. Our schools just aren't big enough anymore to have people. There's people that specialize, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to be competitive in multiple sports, you got to have those kids participate in multiple sports, and it's beneficial for the school, but it's obviously beneficial for them too. I tell the parents, and this is the honest to God truth, I've never one time been called by a coach, college, and we've had some pretty major kids, Brandon Nimmo and James Johnson, and we've had NBA teams and college teams call. They talk about a couple things. How are the kids in the school? How are they with other kids? What is their character, and what other sports do they play? And so we kind of just share that information with parents who may not know that, and it's a fun time, and we really want to get them excited, because like you said, they've been spending the summer they're excited to get their kids to school. We want their kids to be excited to be a part of that, and we want to just start out with a really positive note to start the school year.
All right, they're good. Now let's go to it could be bad, it could be ugly. I don't know how you want to describe it. Parents always think their kids are the greatest thing since sliced bread. Maybe Junior's not playing enough. I don't want to get in the coach's face about it, and the coach probably doesn't want me to get in his face about it. So we will come to you, or Junior's not doing well in school. Are there other procedures in place? Because I know that he can get booted for below par grades. Tell me a little bit. That's sometimes the headache part of your job.
Yeah, absolutely. And we address that as our parent meetings as well. And we just try to tell them to be proactive. We want our coaches to be proactive. We want the kids and the parents to be proactive. The first thing I say, because like you, I have kids now too, and I say, your job. I tell our coaches, don't take anything personal, because a parent's job is to advocate for their kids, and we understand that. We want them to do that. They may not, when they come in and talk to us, they may not have the answer when they leave that they want, but we understand that their job is to advocate for their kids, and we try to tell the parents, our coach's job is to worry about the team, which includes your son or daughter, but at the same time, their job is to worry about the team, where the parent's job is more individualized. And it doesn't mean that they're not worried about the individual kids, because that's obviously a part of it. But we try to be proactive with that. We want them to communicate with us. Sometimes parents don't communicate until they're boiling over, and then that's never a great situation. So we want them to communicate with us early and often. Talk to us, talk to the coaches. We want the kids to start learning how to talk to the coaches. Sometimes that's very intimidating for a 9th grader or 10th grader to go up to a head football coach or head basketball coach and ask them questions. Why am I not playing? I don't agree with the decision you're making. But we want the kids to do that. We want our coaches to have to, that goes back to the relationship piece, to be able to explain to those kids, well, here's what you're doing good, here's what I need you to do. And maybe that's just your role on the team. And we do talk about roles with the parents too. You have starters, you have kids that play some, you have kids that may not play, they're practice players. Right. And so we try to explain those roles as well. And you said it, for most parents, and this is how I am too, and this is how they should be. If their son or daughter's in a uniform, they expect them to play.
Right.
But at the same time, we want them to be part of that learning process, and our parents do a pretty good job of that.
What about making the grades?
Grades are the most important thing of all, of course. That's why we're all here. That's more important than any wins and losses in any of our sports teams. And that's the positive thing about being involved in activities, is because nobody's looked after more than people, the athletes in activities or in sports, and then the other kids that are in band and DECA and FBLA. We run weekly eligibility reports on those kids, and so they have to make the grade, obviously, or they cannot participate. Our schools do a great job of providing opportunities for them, whether it's at East, we call it EHS time. Every morning they can come in for 30 minutes and talk to teachers. We have coaches that do study tables after school for kids who are struggling or may need a little bit of help. But yeah, we stay on top of that. The teachers do a great job of working with those kids. The teachers do a great job of communicating with me about grades and about eligibility with certain kids. The coaches and teachers work well together. A teacher will come to a coach and say, gosh, I just can't, this kid's just driving me crazy in class. Can you talk to him? Because obviously maybe football is the most important thing to that student. And so they just do a good job of doing that. And I think they do that at all schools. And like you said, there's headaches sometimes. But for the most part, we just really try to stay proactive, and the kids do a good job as well. And with the eligibility, we do that on a weekly basis, and they got to make the grade, or they're gonna be missing practice, and they're gonna be studying.
As simple as it is, it's a situation of take advantage of the resources again. If you are a student athlete or a parent, again, take advantage of the resources that are at hand to at least help out your student athlete, or again, try to get an understanding or advance those grades. So again, that's all it sounds like that's what you're kind of proactively trying to tell out. Again, we'll kind of second that as well too.
Absolutely.
Now, getting back to at least the athletic part again, we are here in the fall sports season. We'll get to football here in a few seconds, but at least volleyball. You got a successful program over there, at least when we talked earlier. Going to lose some seniors, at least one going over to LCCC to go play some volleyball. But what's the volleyball season kind of outlook this season?
We're excited to see this weekend in the Cheyenne Invite. We have the Cheyenne Invite volleyball tournament that's going on Friday and Saturday at Central, East, and South. And so we're excited to see our team. We're young, and but we have some talented young kids. And so we have only 2 seniors. We lost some quality seniors, like you said, last year. But we had a pretty quality JV and sophomore squad, and we had some kids that, played a lot of volleyball as 9th graders or 10th graders. We have a lot of 9th graders that are playing up on our JV when I look at the roster this year. And obviously we have some sophomores and juniors that are playing varsity with us, only having 2 seniors this year. And so it's going to kind of be a work in progress, but sometimes when you hear that, that means we're going to have, there's a possibility of not having a great year. I think that we're going to be very competitive. I think we're going to be, Coach Box before Coach Quigley, developed a history of a great volleyball program. One of the better ones right there with Kelly Walsh in the state of Wyoming. And so Coach Quigley's done a good job the last couple of years since she's taken over to continue that tradition. And I don't see that changing in any way. I think, like I said, even though we're going to be young, we're not going to be as tall as we have been in the past, but we have some very quality athletes and some very athletic kids that are multi-sport kids that are going to do a great job for us.
Talking about football, as Nick mentioned, and again, you have the second longest tenured coach in Class 4A behind Steve Harshman in one Chad Goff. And again, too, I remember when Chad had a little kid, that little kid like yours is growing up. I guess the question is, with Cheyenne's football here in the 2000s, and again, I got here in the 80s when football was not all that good, and I think once the arrival of Mike Bellamizzi / John Sharoff, then into Chad Goff, we saw some not rebuilding but reloading every year. I mean, basically, there was some stability here with Chad. I guess the question is, and I know I should ask Chad that more than you, but what keeps him going? And then the next question is, why is he still here? I would think he's ready to make that next move.
Nobody loves coaching more than Chad, and he does a great job. He's so passionate about, especially the football side of things. But we call him football Goff, and we call him girls basketball Goff, and so there's a difference there. So he's just passionate about it, and he's had a plan. The days of the coaches that coach for 15, 20 years are over, I think, as far as at the high school levels, just because of the time you have to put in away from family in the off season. But with Chad, he's going to be one of those last few guys, I think, who does that. He loves football. That he's passionate about football, and that's number one. He wants to coach his kids. He wants to coach our kids. We talk about it all the time. He has his coaching staff. His son's a 9th grader this year, so he's part of the program, so that's exciting. My son's going to be part of the program next year. And then we have coaches that are on his staff that have coached with him the entire time he's been there as well, that have kids that are at the elementary level now. And so he's going to coach until he's ready not to, and then we're going to have some people that are going to be stepping in to coach their own kids and their friends' kids and those types of things, as well as, of course, all of the East High, the kids that attend the school as well. But he's just a passionate guy who loves football, and he's had a plan this entire time, and he's done a great job, obviously, and he's made us one of the most competitive football teams and programs in the state year in and year out, and we don't see that changing this year.
Tell us a little bit about what we can expect from the Cheyenne's Thunderbirds this season.
I think it's similar to our volleyball team that we talked about. We lost some pretty quality kids. We lost some big-time players. Ethan Ashworth, of course, carried the load for us last year, and we lost some good seniors. Matt Semler, Noah James, those guys that have gone on to bigger and better things. They're gone, but we have a good group of young kids, and Chad's done a good job of scheduling. What we've done is schedule full schedules the last few years at every level, and to develop some depth and to give a lot of kids playing time. And we kind of took that model from Natrona, and they just play so many games and give kids so many opportunities, and we've tried to do that, and I think that's paid off as well. And so even though we have some kids who may not have a ton of varsity experience, we have some quality seniors and some good leadership, and then we have kids who are coming in that may not have a ton of varsity experience, but have played a lot of football. And so we're excited about that.
And I also remember, too, last year when we played Natrona in the regular season and we were up there, and that was a rainy day. I remember the sophomore team, and I was talking with my partner, my broadcast partner. I said, wow, this program is pretty doggone good, as they kind of ran past Casper Natrona. So you, as the athletic director, and Coach Goff and his staff have to be pretty excited about even the youth that's going to be joining the varsity this year, mixing in with some of the veterans that are still there. I mean, again, we just don't know how things are going to pan out this season.
Yeah, absolutely. It's exciting, and I think we're going to be competitive. Like I said, I think there's a lot of parity in the state in football. I think Sheridan's still a tier above everybody because they have, 2 or 3 D1 kids. And Kelly Walsh has a running back or quarterback that's a playmaker this year, and that could take over a game. But I think everyone else, I wouldn't say everyone's down a little bit from last year. Maybe there's not as many just game changers as we've had in the past couple of years. But I think there's a ton of parity in the state, and there's going to be a lot of great games and great competition. And like you said, it's kind of up in the air how it's going to end up. But we've been top 4 every year that I can remember, except possibly one in the last 10 years or more. And obviously the goal every year is to make it to that state championship and have a shot.
You open up at Campbell County. Now, last year, if everybody wants to say this, everybody had their shot back at Campbell County, the Camels.
Which East did win by 65-0 last year.
Yes, a lot of teams won on running scoreboards against Campbell County last year. And not to kick them in the shins. I don't want to do that, but are they still having the difficulties there? Are they still making that maneuver to Thunder Bay? What are you hearing?
What's interesting about that?
Because you're going to go up there on Friday night.
Absolutely. What's interesting about that, and I just kind of found out about this the last couple of weeks, they did have a lot of movement to Thunder Base, and obviously Campbell County was very young last year, very, very young, which in my opinion, I'm like, well, it's going to be interesting to see how they are this year because those kids got a lot of experience. I think they're still young. I think they have 6 seniors, is what I heard. And so they're very young, but they have 85 kids out, which I was kind of proud of them, actually. I'm like, that's good for you. They're playing all of their programs right now. They're playing freshman level. They're playing sophomore JV varsity. Thunder Basin, interesting enough, has canceled their sophomore program because they said it was more of a position thing. They didn't have a lot of linemen at the freshman level. And so I thought that was interesting because Campbell County did kind of bounce back with the numbers. I think they're very young still, obviously, but I think all those kids have varsity experience. So
it's a team to be again.
Yeah, it's a little scary.
It's those trap games where you go in a little confident, but now you're on their home turf, and they're looking to, they're trying to gain back some respect or at least confidence after, again, a 65-0 victory last year by Cheyenne East here in Cheyenne. So, again, we'll be interested to see how that goes. Again, best of luck to the Eastside Thunderbirds on that road trip up there.
And again, best of luck to all the programs at Cheyenne East. We'll catch up with you. We'll have our athletic director's report. We'll always chat with you throughout the course of the football season. I know we are.
We'll see him week 1, game 2 as East and Kelly Walsh.
That'll be week 1, not week 0, right? Oh, that's so confusing. Anyway, thanks so much for dropping in today. We do appreciate it. Jerry Slabs, Cheyenne East athletic director, join us here on Wyoming Sports Talk today. We're going to take a timeout. We'll be right back. Wow, it's hot enough out there to fry chicken. So now's the time to find ways to beat the heat, and Marv's Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue, is the best place to go to get cool. Marv's Plumbing and Heating, which provides complete air conditioning, installation, inspection, and repair services, is offering its air conditioning inspections for just $98. So beat the heat right now by calling Marv's Plumbing and Heating today at 316-7634. That's 316-7634.
Taco John's presents Olay the Day Pep Talks.
Okay, good day in the weight room, boys. Remember, we lift weights for strength. For cardio, we lift weights faster. Wachowski, quit looking at your stomach, son. What you're looking for ain't there. If you want a six-pack, the easiest way to get one is at Taco John's.
Stop in for a 6-pack and a pound at Taco John's. Get 6 crispy beef tacos and a pound of potato olays, all for $10.99.
Let's Olay the day and go get one right now. Last one there has to pick up Mrs. Coach from jiu-jitsu class.
Olay the day at Taco John's.
You can actually get something good for your health at a drive-thru window. When you order your next prescription from Medicap Pharmacy, call ahead and use our drive-thru window. Or you can call for free delivery. You can even log on to Medicap.com and order a prescription refill. Your Medicap pharmacist will call you to make arrangements for pickup or delivery.
Medicap Pharmacy will always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
Your everyday drive should be anything but average. The new 2018 Kia Sportage has state-of-the-art technology for convenience, entertainment, and driver assistance. I'm AJ Miller for Kia of Cheyenne, and the 2018 Kia Sportage has available subscription-free UVO connectivity with a color touchscreen display for hands-free calling, navigation, music, and more. Stay in touch and be at your best wherever you go. Come in today or call us at 775-0123 or go to KiaofCheyenne.com and we'll make it easy.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
For today, it'll be partly sunny with a possible thunderstorm in the afternoon with highs around 72. Then for tonight, it'll be mostly cloudy with lows around 53. On Thursday, it'll be mostly sunny with highs around 79 and winds out of the west at 10 to 15 miles per hour. And on Thursday night, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 50 and winds out of the northwest at 15 to 20 miles per hour.
Tired of lazy and predictable sports talk radio? We know you are. This is Cheyenne's new sports radio home. It's Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's right here on AM 1480 K-Ray.
We are back and just about ready to close out hour number one of Wyoming Sports Talk today. Thank you again to Jerry Schlaz, East High Athletic Director.
Do want to at least pass along as we are live on Periscope and YouTube, as we've been for quite some time, many months here. Again, Cheyenne's only multimedia radio station, at least radio program with Wyoming Sports Talk today. We did have a comment earlier talking about if Wyoming was going to take care of New Mexico State coming up this weekend as high school football starts up Friday. College football starts up Saturday, or at least games that we kind of care about. But question was, is Wyoming going to take care of New Mexico State coming up this weekend? So I wanted to address that.
I feel pretty confident that the Cowboys are going to do
Cowboys, well. I do believe going into New Mexico from the spread I saw was a 3-point favorite.
It's not in. I'm not in to go with the favorites right now. I feel good just by things that have gone on at fall camp, and this is a very healthy outfit that's going to be going to Las Cruces.
And but as I've been saying, for Wyoming, this is a true test right now. This is a true filling out process.
This will be the acid test. You know, Tyler Vanderwall is named the quarterback for the Wyoming Cowboys,
as we assumed.
You know,
we kind of assumed going into it.
Running back situation is taken care of. Wide receivers are doing well. The defense is going to be the building. I mean, I'm telling you, that's going to be the Superman of this ball club. And
again, defense, you know what you're getting out of. Again, it's the top 10 defense across the nation. It's more so the question of, what is this offense going to be?
Well, and I'm already seeing.
Again, is this offense going to sputter along like it did last season, or is it going to fire on all cylinders and complement the defense?
I think it'll come out of the blocks a little sputtery, I guess. I think it's going to be the work-in-progress offense, but at least we know now who's going to be directing the offense. Is it Nico Evans, I do believe, is now named the running back.
I do believe so.
Wide receivers are having a very good camp. The line is starting to settle in. And again, too, you know, the accolades that are coming to the Wyoming defense. And again, we have not snapped the football, but Andrew Wingard, preseason All-American. I mean, obviously the outsiders as well as us on the inside are seeing things and are showing that are believing that the Wyoming Cowboys defense can get the job done. We know, yes, they got to play at Mizzou. Yes, we know Washington State will be there. But for the Cowboys, this first road acid test, this litmus test at Las Cruces is going to be huge. Do I feel they can win at Las Cruces? Absolutely. Do I expect the Wyoming Cowboys to win going away? No. Do I expect a very close game and a low-scoring game? Absolutely.
Maybe.
That's my opinion.
Again, this is New Mexico State. That is, I think, on par of what they're going to see throughout the Mountain West this season, minus Boise State.
They're a good team. I'm not going to take anything away from them.
They are a good feeling-out process team. Again, for me, this is the first true test for Wyoming coming up this season of what is this team going to be made of? Can they compete with other teams like this that they will see through conference play coming up this season? It is a true test, but it is on the road in Las Cruces, taking on New Mexico State. That game on Saturday. It will be on ESPN2, 8 o'clock kickoff. That is 8 p.m. Mountain Time, along with also two game that we will be at, as much as it seems hot, as we'll be traveling down south to Fort Collins to see Colorado State taking on Hawaii. That game will be underway at 5:30 p.m. on CBS Sports Network. CSU in that contest, a 14-point favorite. Again, obviously a team going from the islands that has a little difficulty playing in the continental U.S.
When they play on the mainland, they always struggle, and then when you have to go out there, it's a little more on the difficult side. So, again, Hawaii, not all of the great shakes. There are some holes that the Rams got to fill. Mike Bobo.
Yeah, again, that is the big thing is, and it's a big piece, or at least puzzle piece missing with Coach Bobo, again, kind of the main leader of that team, but you would assume that CSU is going to rally around. Again, that's kind of that team moment of going, let's do it for Coach. Let's do it, again, as he's dealing with health issues right now. Hey, let's do it for you. Let's get that victory and, make him feel better when he returns back to this program when he does.
Right.
That's again two very interesting Mountain West games coming up again, at least with Hawaii and Colorado State. That is a conference game, and then with Wyoming, New Mexico State, obviously out of conference, non-conference. Yeah. But again, you're looking at equivalent of talent of what you'd see throughout the Mountain West.
It's like we're going to get our dose of football in this weekend, and the only things I care about: Friday Night Lights and Saturday football. I care about
preseason's garbage right
3.
now. Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, Josh Allen has been tabbed the number 1 QB,
which I assume
in Buffalo.
I had a feeling.
It looks like, obviously, what I'm hearing out of Bronco camp, that Paxton Lynch is on the bubble. So will he remain a Bronco?
I think that bubble's going to pop after week 3.
On that last, again, evidently. Being demoted to that number 3 position has kind of sparked the fire underneath him, but I'm like you. I don't think he's going to be around.
We're also at the top of the hour.
After it's all said and done. All right, we do want to move on to hour number 2. We're going to talk a little baseball. And
at least a new signing, or at least a new addition.
Yeah, a new man that'll be running a program here in town. So we'll be talking to him and to the former head coach of that program. So we'll be back after these words right here on 1480 K-Ray.
This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
As Cheyenne's weather turns warmer, dust and pollen can become a problem for those with allergies, asthma, or respiratory issues. And the last thing you want in the summer heat is poor air quality in your home or office. So it's time to turn to Marv's Plumbing and Heating. That's right, Cheyenne's most trusted plumbing, sewer, and heating business also services air conditioning. Marv's Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue, can handle all your air conditioning needs. Give them a call, 316-7634. That's 316-7634.
Is your teenager ready to drive?
Come on, Mom. Let's go.
Sorry, you're not ready to drive yet.
What? Come on.
You need to complete a driver's ed class first.
The Wyoming-Montana Safety Council offers a complete driver's education program taught by Tim Woodard, former Laramie County School District's driver's ed teacher. Classes are starting soon. Please call 635-4592 to sign up or go to wmsafetycouncil.org. Wyoming-Montana Safety Council. Think safe, live safe.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Man, it seems like it just did this last hour. Hey, Wyoming Sports Talk Today being brought to you by this great group of sponsors. Can't do without them. Taco John's of Cheyenne. We also want to thank Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service over on Highway 30. Chick-fil-A at the corner, Windmill and Del Range. Remember, get 3 squares now at Chick-fil-A Monday through Saturday. Kia of Cheyenne over on Nation Way, where there's a Kia waiting for you to go home with you later on this evening, or maybe you're out there tomorrow, Friday. How about over the weekend? We want to thank Rick and the great staff over at Platte Valley Bank over on Vandehigh and at the corner of College and Pershing. Medicap Pharmacy for all your pharmaceutical needs. Same location, not their first rodeo. You know the drill. They're over on Bluegrass Circle next to Texas Roadhouse. Lennox Auto Body with the main repair center over on Dunn Avenue, the Auto Glass and Detail Center on Pershing Boulevard. First Tier Bank at 1508 Stillwater Avenue, and right across the street at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D, it's Mondello's Pizzeria. The Wyoming Montana Safety Council sponsoring our program, 635-4592, Mars Plumbing and Heating. You can see them or give them a call. They are located at 1515 Logan Avenue in Cheyenne. And to get things underway with our scoreboard, and that is brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne. We'll go first to Nick, and what do you got?
What I got is some local action with LCCC volleyball in action over at the Rack tonight. 6 o'clock will be tip-off over there. They will be taking on Trinidad State Junior College as it is regular season volleyball action beginning tonight live at the Rack. So again, go support the Lady Golden Eagles. They are your nationally ranked number 12 NJCAA team. So go support, go Golden Eagles.
Well, it looks like there will be a change atop the AL West with the Astros probably back on top by a full game. They lead the Mariners into the top of the sixth inning. They're actually punishing the Mariners right now 9-2. Oakland trails in the Oko. They've moved to the bottom of the eighth inning, and it's the Rangers leading 4-1. Finals in from earlier today. Blue Jays in the Rogers Center. They shut out the Orioles 6-0. It's the White Sox downing the Twins 7-3. Brewers blanking the Reds 4-0 at Miller Park. Games to get underway when we step off the microphone. Phillies will be at the Nats. It will be the Bravos at the Pirates. Indians will take on the Red Sox, who have lost 3 in a row. Cubs and the Tigers at Comerica Interleague play. Giants and the Mets at Citi Field, where we both shrug our shoulders and go, who cares? We did at one time, but now, who cares?
Yeah, at this point, it doesn't matter.
Yankees will be at the Marlins. It will be the Royals and the Rays in the Trop. 6 o'clock game will have the Padres at the Rocks. They'll get underway at 6:40, and maybe the Rocks could rebound after last night's woeful performance against the Padres.
Again, it's a team they struggle for whatever reason, and it wouldn't surprise me if Padres sweep.
Well, John Gray will get the nod for Colorado tonight. Another interleague contest will have the Halos and the Diamondbacks at Chase Field. 102 degrees right now in downtown Phoenix.
Perfect weather.
Of course, inside the Chase Field ballpark was about 75.
Yeah, I think they air conditioned it down to that.
And then is the pool still in action?
I think the pool's in action for the entire season.
Well, I just want to make sure if the pool will be in operation. So, again, Angels and Diamondbacks tonight at Chase, and it will be the Dodgers in the late contest hosting the St. Louis Cardinals. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Hi, I'm Alex White, tea master at Pure Leaf. When I make tea, everything I know goes into it. You can't be impatient.
632-3500 and ask for Caitlin or Debbie, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
50 miles southwest of present-day Casper sits Independence Rock, an iconic landmark of the Oregon Trail. Thousands of travelers carved and painted their names on the rock as they traveled west. Explorer William Sublett may have been the first one to name Independence Rock when he stopped there on July 4, 1830, on his way to the Wind River. Located approximately halfway between the Missouri River and the Pacific coast, pioneers on the trail aimed to reach the rock by the 4th of July to beat the heavy winter snows. This is Mike Strom bringing you a moment in history from the Wyoming State Archives.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
For today, it'll be partly sunny with a possible thunderstorm in the afternoon with highs around 72. Then for tonight, it'll be mostly cloudy with lows around 53. On Thursday, it'll be mostly sunny with highs around 79 and winds out of the west at 10 to 15 miles per hour. And on Thursday night, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 50 and winds out of the northwest at 15 to 20 miles per hour.
Here the season never ends. From Wyoming sports to the Broncos in Denver. From Rockies baseball to talking hoops with Nuggets basketball. Local, regional, and national. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, right here on AM 1480 K-Ray.
Welcome back to Wyoming Sports Talk Today. This is hour number 2. We get to talk some baseball as we've had a chance to chat with our athletic directors this week. In studio with us, this is going to be like in with the out with the old and in with the new in our program.
He said it on
today. You know what, Rick and I are about the we come from about the same age group here. We're ready for Social Security. But anyway, Rick Thompson joins us, former skipper of the Connie Mack Cheyenne Mustangs, and then we have on the line with us the new skipper, which will be Sheldon Baxter. So let's bring on Sheldon real quick, as he'll have a chance to join in on the conversation with all of us. And first off, Sheldon, we say congratulations on being tabbed as the new manager for the Cheyenne Mustangs.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you guys for having me.
So I guess, Sheldon, we'll come right out of the box here, and I know Rick will have some questions along with Nick, and we'll all go back and forth here. I guess the decision to make the trip from where you're at presently out to Cheyenne, Wyoming, what was the motivation to come out here and take over this program?
Mostly baseball's been very good to me and allowed me to explore a lot of places. And I felt like this is another great opportunity to get out even further west than I've ever been and kind of explore some more cool places.
Now, also, too, you have, you have that relationship with Rick's son, Reed. So, obviously, Reed has been a little bit of an influence in the decision. So, tell us a little bit about the relationship that you and Reed have. And, obviously, I would think when you come out here that Reed might be part of your staff.
Yeah, absolutely. We plan on him being one of the assistants. I met Reed at Murray State. He was my roommate for 1 year, and he kind of flirted with the idea of me coming out there to coach. I think it was last year maybe. Just couldn't do it. Had some other stuff going on, and then recently he called me again saying that the Rick was stepping down, and everything kind of worked out from there.
At least for yourself, Sheldon, just give us kind of a resume, at least for folks tuning in and just kind of curious about who's going to be their new Cheyenne Mustangs manager. Just give us a little background of the kind of baseball experience that you've had, including with Murray State.
I started out in high school at LaCanto High School here. It's a 6A school here in the state of Florida. Had a lot of success. Was a varsity letterman all 4 years. My junior year, I was the county player of the year, and then was at a high school. I was offered a scholarship to play at Murray State. I was a pitcher there for all 4 years, kind of worked both as a starter and a reliever. Got to start at some really cool places against some very highly ranked teams, and also got a couple saves. So I really did it all in college as far as pitching in all sorts of spots.
Let's talk with both Rick and you as well here on the situation, Sheldon. So first, Rick, you stepping down as a skipper, and you had mentioned that on our program that this was not a surprise to the Mustangs program. You had made it known earlier in the year that this was going to be your last season. How much of your involvement was in the decision on hiring Sheldon to come on in and take over the program?
I did have some involvement in that. The search has been going on for some time. There were a number of very qualified applicants. I urged Reed to reach out to Coach Baxter once again, since he had a relationship with him. And when he expressed interest, we pursued that, and I thought he was the best candidate for the job and a great fit. And we were delighted when he accepted the position and decided to come out here.
What kind of jumped off, or at least we'll continue with Rick, but what kind of jumped off to you, at least with Sheldon, of why he was kind of that perfect fit to be the Cheyenne Mustangs' new head coach?
It's because he brings a lot of experience both as a player and as a coach. He's played Division I baseball, so he knows what it takes to get to that level. There's a lot of baseball you have to play to be able to be successful at that level like he was. And then add to that his resume of coaching in Florida. Since he graduated from Murray State University in 2016, he has been a Florida high school coach. He is the pitching coach at the high school there, and he has coached summer travel teams, elite 16U and 18U travel teams in the Tampa Bay area. And so they play a high level of baseball down there. It's similar to what we do with our 18U group here, and so we thought he was a perfect fit for the job based on his experience.
You know, Sheldon, as you will be coming up here prior to next season, but you got to come in here basically guns a-blazing because, the season's going to be upon you once you arrive. But you are at Lecanto right now, the pitching coach. So obviously, what are you trying to pass along to this year's upcoming team, the pitchers especially? What are you going to be expressing to them as far as exercises, drills, things that you are currently putting in play down there in Florida?
Yeah, I have a few drills that I like to do with my pitchers down here. They're pretty simple. It's all basically just about the pre-pitch mechanics, release point, all very simple drills that hopefully they've had some experience with before that I can just kind of refine and help them perfect that.
One of the things, too, that we have to deal with here as opposed to where you're at is going to be weather, and it's going to be harsh weather once we get to the first of the year. So a lot of these guys will have to do their workouts indoors, where you have that opportunity to be outdoors with these guys, as you can be almost all year round. So arms, and again, too, your arms in the high school, they're playing baseball basically all year round. Here we don't play baseball all year round. It's just, a weather fact. So do you feel that these guys are going to be behind the curve a little bit when you come in to take over the ball club?
They might be a little bit behind what I'm used to, but I think we'll be able to kind of build them up fairly quickly and get them into game shape.
Rick, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sheldon. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good. As long as they are honest with their arm health and how their arm's feeling, we shouldn't have any issues at all.
All right, go ahead, Rick, if you have any questions for Sheldon.
No. What I was going to add to his answer is that with our indoor facility, we are going to take what Coach Baxter gives to us in terms of drills that he wants done for his players in the winter workouts, and have the assistant coaches who are here and myself able to pass that information on to them and have them doing the workouts that he wants them to be doing in the off season and the preseason to get them ready. So with the help we have here and the support system, I think we'll be able to, do what is needed to be done to get those players ready for Coach Baxter when he gets here.
With your pitching staff down there right now in Florida, are you mirroring some of the colleges and the majors a little bit with, correct me if I'm wrong, it's still 7-inning games in high school. Do you go with pitch counts? Do you keep eyes on your pitchers? Give me the full money on that.
Yeah, we have pitch counts down here. The most any player is allowed to throw is 105. they don't usually, hopefully, get to that, but never more than 110. Never.
Talk about your years at Murray State, and again, you look back at that D1 level. And one of the nice things, too, talking with Coach Thompson here in studio with us, and even our American Legion counterpart, Coach Lane, one of the nice things is that we are starting to see that collegiate interest in our young men, even though we only play, a few months out of the year up here. Tell us a little bit about that D1 experience, and have you been able to make those type of connections since you have left Murray State?
Playing at the Division I level, playing college baseball in general, was probably the greatest 4 years that I'll have in my life. It was an absolutely phenomenal experience, and that's a lot of what wanted to get me into coaching, was to help more kids experience that and building that relationship with them through that.
Have you picked up some relationships with some of the D1 coaches? Again, in your coaching career now that you graduated from college, have you picked up those type of door openers for some of the young men to, hey, take a look at this particular university or this JUCO? Are you starting to get those doors opening for you too?
I have a lot of connections with some junior colleges and Division IIs. I don't think I have many or any with Division I level yet, but I have a lot of junior colleges and Division IIs that I can help talk to.
Also, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just want to talk at least with Coach Baxter. He will arrive, at least be the new head coach in May 2019 after finishing up the Florida high school season down there. But for you, Sheldon, what kind of issues, again, obviously in Florida, their sea level, different environment, different climate than what's here in Cheyenne, Wyoming, or at least the Rocky Mountain region here between Wyoming, Colorado, and also out east of us with Nebraska. But is there any issues, any shortcomings that you kind of, at least possible issues that you see coming to Cheyenne that, maybe trying to get adjusted to the altitude a bit, or maybe trying to adjust players and understand the weather patterns out here? Do you kind of foresee anything of trying to, it's going to take you a while to get adjusted?
I think I'll be fine, because just this past summer I spent 2 months in Reno, Nevada. I was helping run baseball tournaments out there for a couple months, and that I actually felt like that really helped kind of what to expect as far as temperature and the dryness of the heat and how players react in it. Being the tournament director, I was around players nonstop.
So you come here in May, and you'll be hitting the ground running. We're talking 60 games this year for the Mustangs in a period of 3 months, and again, a lot of tournament action. Is this stuff that you are ready to rock and roll instead of just playing a 3-game series or a doubleheader? Are you ready to get into all these tournaments right out of the box with the Mustangs?
Oh, absolutely. It's pretty much what I'm accustomed to as far as travel ball down here. We run tournaments and playing tournaments almost every weekend. I think over the past summer we just had 54 games in 2 months.
So Reed is going to be, kind of like your right-hand guy, and I'm sure Rick will always, have a little bit, a foot on the sidelines to make sure that the transition is smooth for you. What are you looking for out of the Mustangs in the year of 2019? Obviously, we fell short a little bit in the ultimate goal is to get to that Connie Mack World Series. But again, it's one step at a time. What is your personal goals for this team?
I just want to continue on with the tradition that Rick has been having with the success that he's had there in the past 3 seasons. Just want to keep that rolling, and hopefully we can get better every day and get to that Connie Mack World Series. And
again, how do you keep in contact? I guess obviously social media is the greatest thing since sliced bread. But with your upcoming team, I'm assuming you'll be in contact with them throughout the course of the off season.
Yeah, I plan to get in touch with almost all the players at least once or twice before I get up there in May.
All right, Sheldon. Well, we want to first off say congratulations on being named the new skipper of the Cheyenne Mustangs. Looking forward to having you in studio with us as we could talk some more baseball with you. Continued success for your last season down there in Florida as well, and we'll catch up with you once we get back into the ball season.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
All righty. Sheldon Baxter joined us here on 1480 K-Ray. Nick, boy, I tell you, you were quick there with the fingers and the buttons. We're going to take a quick timeout. We'll come back and we'll continue our conversation with Rick Thompson after these words right here on 1480 K-Ray.
Wow, it's hot enough out there to fry chicken. So now's the time to find ways to beat the heat, and Marv's Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue, is the best place to go to get cool. Marv's Plumbing and Heating, which provides complete air conditioning, installation, inspection, and repair services, is offering its air conditioning inspections for just $98. So beat the heat right now by calling Marv's Plumbing and Heating today at 316-7634. That's 316-7634.
For 56 years, 1480 K-Ray has been Cheyenne's home for good times and great oldies. Also with KYY FM, we are Cheyenne and the area's only locally owned AM/FM combo radio stations. Add that to the addition of 3 FM radio translators to serve the area with programming from both K-Ray and KYY, and that equals a lot of bang for your local advertising dollar. Radio, yesterday and today, still works. For more information, contact Larry Proetti at 307-637-0301.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner. Is your free checking account no longer free? Lose those checking account fees and lose the hassle by switching to Platte Valley Bank's Value Checking and experience truly free checking. With Platte Valley Bank's Value Checking, there is no minimum balance required, unlimited check writing, no per check charge, no monthly service charge, free net banking, free e-statements, free bill pay, free mobile banking, and Platte Valley Bank customers can use their debit cards at any ATM anywhere absolutely free. So stop by Platte Valley Bank today and lose those fees with Value Checking.
Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC.
This year marks the 175th anniversary of the first major migration west across the United States along the Oregon Trail. The trail runs through central Wyoming along the North Platte River from Torrington to Casper, then over South Pass and on to the west coast. Travelers favored this route because of the ease of crossing the Continental Divide. All told, as many as 500,000 men, women, and children would travel the trail. Independence Rock, Register Cliff, Devil's Gate, and the Parting of the Ways were major landmarks along the trail in Wyoming, helping to guide travelers west. This is Mike Strom bringing you a moment in history from the Wyoming State Archives.
Got something to say? Then get it off your chest right now. Phone lines are open at 307-514-1071. Make your opinion count and call the show. Wyoming Sports Talk today.
As we're back on Wyoming Sports Talk today, talking some baseball with former skipper of the Cheyenne Mustangs, Rick Thompson, as it was announced here by Rick, as he said he was stepping down. And again,
after 3 seasons, going 127-44 again.
Man, he's a slacker. That's all he won was just, he only won, out of every 3 games, 2. What the hell? All right. So anyway, as we got over the part of you stepping down and then wondering, well, what's going to go on? Who's going to step forward and be the next coach of the Mustangs? How much of the influence decision would you make? What was the board's, action in all of this? So tell us the process. You knew already that you were stepping down. Obviously, the board kind of let things play out this season. You offered your services to, hang around as far as the operations are concerned, and then all of a sudden Sheldon falls into your lap. And I'm going to say that he fell into your lap simply for the fact of the relationship with Reed.
Oh, there's no question the relationship with Reed was key in that. At the time that I stepped down, a decision had not been made on a coach. I offered to the Mustangs board that I would stay involved with the organization in whatever capacity they wanted me to do. They asked me to be in charge of the baseball operations, which I accepted. And first order of business was to get the varsity coach decision made and get a coach hired. And with Reed's assistance, we focused in on Coach Baxter, and as I mentioned before, he accepted the position, and we were delighted that he did so. So we're excited about him coming in.
Is it a situation with Sheldon coming in? Is he going to be able to bring in some assistant coaches, as you mentioned, or at least he did? Reed looking to be at least an assistant part of the Cheyenne Mustangs coming up next season. But does he have that opportunity to bring in his own pitching coach or assistants for Cheyenne Mustangs, or are we looking to retain, for instance, Jay Folds, that we've grown accustomed to had on this show many times? What's kind of the process for that as well?
Well, if he wants to bring someone in, he can certainly do that. It was a bonus in a sense that Reed was originally not going to stay on next year as an assistant coach, but once Coach Baxter accepted the position, then Reed decided he wanted to stay on. So we got a little bit of a bonus there that he will stay on, provide some continuity and a very good hitting coach, outfielders coach to the team. And it's my hope that Jay Folds, like I am, staying involved in the organization, although he will not be on the coaching staff per se. He's going to remain involved with player development. And so he will be one of the guys through the fall, winter, early spring that will continue to assist with player development and continue to be involved in the organization. And so as for other assistants, I think we're leaving that open for right now, but there are options there.
You know, in the short history of the Mustangs, and I might be off one or two here, but I think Sheldon now becomes maybe the fifth manager of the Mustangs in their very short history?
I think that's right. We had Todd Hall and we had Steve Bassage and so I think he's the fourth or fifth,
one, yeah.
Maybe the fourth coach.
And again, each manager, including yourself, all have different philosophies. But the one thing that we have seen with the Mustangs program, and again, I also send a salute out to the Sixers, with Tag, stepping down and Ty taking over. The program did not miss a beat. It seems like from each manager that you've had in the Mustangs program, it seems to have always picked up a notch.
Well, one thing I know about Coach Baxter is not only is he knowledgeable about the game, but I think he'll be very structured and disciplined, and he will run a good program. I do want to temper the expectations for next year in some respect because we graduated a lot of seniors. We had 11 seniors, returning seniors on this year's team. 10 of them went on to play college baseball. So we have one returning senior next year and a lot of underclassmen. So they're going to be much younger and less experienced than the team I was fortunate to have this summer. So he's got some rebuilding to do, and so I just want to make sure that expectations are in line with that.
But also too, the youngsters that were on that squad this year and may not have gotten a lot of playing time. But then again, you guys were boat racing a lot of teams, so a lot of these underclassmen were getting some playing time. So stepping onto the field next year, it's not like they're going to wet their pants. They know what is expected of them.
Right. The underclassmen who were on our team got to see firsthand, how it's done and got to see a good team play, and they were part of that. They got some playing time and some experience, especially as you suggested when sometimes we got out to leads and we got guys in there earlier. And so they do come with some experience returning, and we do expect them to step up and take a leadership role on next year's team.
Have you had the tryouts already for the Mustangs, which I think it was in early August, if I'm not mistaken? Have we pared down that roster? Now this would be a fall ball club that we are looking at for a few games this season during the fall league, and then this would be the team that will be walking into the hands of Coach Baxter.
Right. So we have had our fall tryouts. We have made our player selections. Most of the players, probably 2/3 of them, are available to play fall baseball and have expressed a desire to do that. They're not in a fall sport that would preclude that. And so what we've done is we have not made final assignments for a lot of the players between varsity and JV until we get to see them a little bit more in the fall. The coaches that are here will help assess that, and it'll be an opportunity to get to see a little bit more of them before the final selections are made as to the assignment. Does a player go to varsity? Does he go to JV?
Who will be at least managing those, at least that fall ball team? And then also to second part of that question is, what is fall ball kind of at least involved with, especially out here in the Rocky Mountain region? Again, as we understand, weather can be an issue, especially come towards the end of October. But are we looking at just tournaments kind of locally down in Colorado, or just a few games here and there with teams maybe out of Nebraska? What is it also to involve?
Well, it's mostly practicing during the week, trying to get a lot of reps in, trying to train them into and get the reps in that we want them to get into to train them, and then playing games on the weekends and a few double headers with some of the northern Colorado teams. Not a lot of tournaments like you have in the summer, maybe one or two. And then a lot of, I think, controlled inter-squad scrimmages where you see your players in a live setting, but yet kind of control it and stop the game and go through some instructional points. And we would do that with Jay Folds and I and some of the other coaches that are on the coaching staff that are already here at the JV and assistant varsity coach level.
Looking at your situation as you're still part of the baseball operations with the Mustangs, and again, Sheldon still will be involved with his high school group over in Florida. Who's going to set the schedule? Is this because of Rick Thompson's relationships, Reed's relationships? Does Coach Baxter start putting together some games? How's this schedule going to develop for 2019?
I've taken on the responsibility of scheduling for next year because I know where everybody's at. I know all the coaches that we play in the spring, who's available to play before Colorado high school baseball is finished, who the tournaments are, the tournaments we host. And so rather than burden him with that, since I have that and have done that for the past few years, I'm going to go ahead and predominantly set the schedule with his input and assistance as well as Reed's and try to get that done so that's out of the way before he gets here.
Now, he doesn't need to be mentored, so to speak, to be a manager. A lot of these guys have paid their dues in the coaching ranks. Again, I mean, I look at it this way: if he's coaching pitchers right now, that's just one step below being a manager, because you definitely got to have the arms to carry you through a season. But how much are you and Sheldon going to gel together before he has that opportunity to step onto the field as the next Mustangs manager?
I don't intend to be his mentor. I think he has head coaching experience in the 18U travel teams down in Florida, and as far as I'm concerned, when he gets here, this is his team. I'll do what he would like me to do before he gets here in terms of helping scheduling or coordination of practices indoors to get the players ready. But once he steps on the ground here, I'm out of the way. It's his team, and he and his coaches will take over from there.
Is it going to be a little different for you? And I know with my children, whether it was the recreational softball or baseball, and when you step away from just coaching, and I had that opportunity in California to do Legion, but as I see with these kids, it was great just to sit in the stands and watch a game. Is that going to be a little different for you? Because sometimes we still have the manager inside of us going, I wouldn't have done that. But is it going to be a different change of pace for you?
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I want to be able to go watch him play, sit up in the stands and relax and not have the pressure of making all the decisions. And, I think maybe the manager and us all, thinks about how we would do it in that situation. And I don't think there's a right and a wrong. Everybody has their own style and their own way. But I have full confidence that the coaching staff next year will do a great job, and it's going to be nice for me to be able to sit back and just let them do it, and I get to watch.
Totally satisfied in your tenure as the manager of the Cheyenne Mustangs. If there was something different you could have done, what?
I am very satisfied. A lot of good players came through. We got them on to college. We won a lot of tournaments. This year's team, to kind of put it in perspective, we lost 7 games out of 60, and 3 of those losses were to teams that finished in the Final Four of the Connie Mack World Series. The Lamorinda team finished third, and the Southern Cal Renegades finished fourth. Both did very well down there, and we played toe-to-toe with both those teams. So it shows you how close we were, and I was very gratified with the season we had and how we did. And I don't really have any regrets. I really like the way they progressed while I was there, and I know that the next coaching staff will do a great job.
Under your tenure again, as it was only just for 3 years, but again, very successful of 127 and 44 throughout those 3 seasons, what would be kind of key words that you would describe at least your teams and at least what you brought to the Cheyenne Mustangs program? Would it be kind of respectability, notoriety, or especially here in Cheyenne? Again, obviously you're in that kind of great shadow of Post 6, but again, with seasons like what we had at least this past summer with 53-7, again, a lot of eyes bringing, at least going over the side of going, hey, the Cheyenne Mustangs, they play very good baseball. But what are kind of some keywords that you would associate your years with the Cheyenne Mustangs?
Well, that's a tough question. But no, I hear you. I think I'd like to think that teams and whoever saw us play thought we played hard, we were disciplined, that our players were hardworking and were fundamentally sound. And those are the few of the things that I tried to instill in them, and hopefully they took on with them as building blocks, and not only for maybe if those went on college baseball, but in life, just how to compete and do things the right way and not take shortcuts and put in the work.
Final thought from me is, again, we want to thank you and the entire organization for all that you did for us this season. And having this conversation with Ty here, I do believe about a week and a half ago, a couple weeks ago, again, where they had the opportunity to expand the program and go off to different tournaments. Are we going to see the Mustangs next year moving on and playing wherever, Utah or New Mexico? Again, you were down in New Mexico wrapping up the season. Are we looking at the same cast of characters that the Mustangs are going to have in play?
I don't know that we'll see great changes in the schedule. If I am going to seek to schedule something in a new territory further away, I would consult with the new coaching staff coming in. Is that something that they want to take on and go to? Because it involves some different travel arrangements, and I just want to make sure that the schedule fits with where we'll be as a program and also the new coaching staff. So before I venture out and do anything too much differently, I would certainly want to consult with them.
Well, Rick, we want to thank you very much for your time. Thank you to the Mustangs organization, and looking forward to working with Sheldon next year. And again, you are looking forward to making sure you bring a nice padded seat out at Powers or
sunscreen
out to Pioneer. Yeah, definitely want to bring out the sunscreen as well. But we want to thank you very much for joining us again on Wyoming Sports Talk today.
Thank you for having me on the show. It's always a pleasure. Appreciate it.
All right, we're back after these words right here in 1480 K-Ray.
The time is now, and the place to go is Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service for their annual model clearance sale of Jayco RVs and fifth wheels. This is your year to travel the countryside, and what better way with your Jayco RV from Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service. And to put you on the road today, save 30% on their annual model clearance. Their savings are always the best on whatever model you select. Come see and take home your favorite today when you buy from Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service at 6102 East Highway 30 in Cheyenne, or go online to jollyrogersrvs.com.
Is your teenager ready to drive?
Come on, Mom. Let's go.
Sorry, you're not ready to drive yet.
What? Come on.
You need to complete a driver's ed class first.
The Wyoming-Montana Safety Council offers a complete driver's education program taught by Tim Woodard, former Laramie County School District's driver's ed teacher. Classes are starting soon. Please call 635-4592 to sign up or go to wmsafetycouncil.org. Wyoming-Montana Safety Council. Think safe, live safe.
Taco John's presents Olay the Day Pep Talks.
Good game, boys. You showed some real fight. Like when Wachowski put that hit on our own mascot. Solid work, son. Okay, Friday was for football, but Tuesday is for tacos. Taco Tuesday at Taco John's. It's a sacred holiday where we eat tacos repeatedly until I get full.
Save big every Taco Tuesday with crispy beef tacos for just 99 cents.
Get some rest, boys, because come Taco Tuesday, we olay the day.
Olay the Day at Taco John's.
At Medicap Pharmacy, we concentrate on nothing but your medications and your health. Each location is a locally owned full-service neighborhood pharmacy. We won't make you walk through aisles and aisles of stuff or wait in a long line. Instead, we'll always make time for you by listening, answering your questions, and explaining your prescriptions.
Medicap Pharmacy. We'll always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
For today, it'll be partly sunny with a possible thunderstorm in the afternoon with highs around 72. Then for tonight, it'll be mostly cloudy with lows around 53. On Thursday, it'll be mostly sunny with highs around 79 and winds out of the west at 10 to 15 miles per hour. And on Thursday night, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 50 and winds out of the northwest at 15 to 20 miles per hour.
You bleed brown and gold? So do we. Wyoming Cowboys football and basketball is always front and center on this show. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's here on AM 1480 K-Ray.
Giving you an update around the ballparks here. They moved to the bottom of the ninth at the Oco. Rangers leading the Swinging A's 4-2. There's 2 outs in the ninth inning. Now there are 3 away with the bags juiced as the Athletics will fall to the Rangers. And the Astros clinging to a 9-7 lead as they have wrapped up 7 innings at Safeco. So you never know.
You can't win them all.
It's fun. It's fun to watch the pennant races now. I mean, this is
it is tightening up a bit, but again, for the A's,
I mean,
you don't need to sweep every series.
Did you actually? When I was watching Major League Baseball, when they were going to the training camps earlier in the year, you know, I said, hey, the A's are going to be exciting this year. Are they going to be a 500 team? Maybe.
For me, it was something along with our predictions in MLB. I think, and I'd have to look back, I gave the A's that wild card position, but it was a team that I knew was going to be better, more respectable. Didn't anticipate that they were going to compete against Houston, or at least float around where Houston's at. I thought Houston, obviously, again, World Series, they added big names in the offseason. I figured the Astros were going to cruise to the AL West title, but did not expect this out of the Oakland A's. And right now what they're doing is something special, especially where you look back at the beginning of the season where they were floating down there dead last in the AL West, and now flirting with, could they win the AL West title? Possibly. You cannot shut them out at this point, but it is a team that has been building. Obviously, it's that Billy Bean, he got lucky this year. Will it happen next year? Because, again, he might unload some big names.
He's still got a ton of prospects.
Chris Davis.
I know, but he's got prospects that he's been picking up over the course of the last few years. Yeah. Anyway, I do want to mention this, and then I want to get your also your take on this as well.
What?
The Yankees, and I watched him throw last night. They placed Aroldis Chapman on the 10-day DL. I mean, the guy was only throwing like 90-plus last night. He's got a left knee tendonitis, so he's going to be shelved.
It seems like with Chapman, he's always injured. He has something goes wrong with him. It seems like that's been something that's plagued his entire career.
But, again, yesterday we were announcing that the Washington Nationals had tossed in the white flag with their trades.
Pretty much.
Now
it's a team showing that it's going to rebuild and purify itself.
The Giants also have done the same thing too. Again, they didn't do much during the trade deadline,
and I think they were in the same mindset of the Nationals, are going, well, we'll take our gamble, we'll gamble on this, see if we can turn things around.
But also too, they knew Posey was hurt because he had skipped the All-Star game. He was voted into the National League All-Stars.
He was a reserve.
Yeah, but he was voted in, and then he decided to skip it just simply for the fact that he had a hip problem. But as you found out, that hip problem's a little worse than was first brought up.
No, it was probably something that they've known for quite some time, but with Buster Posey, yes, again, as it was announced, he will have season-ending surgery coming up, so his, at least, time with the Giants is wrapped up for the season, which is unfortunate. Again, the face of that franchise, is it something that Buster Posey is going to be moved in the offseason when he's healthy or next season? No, I don't think so, but anticipate with the Giants, what the Nationals are doing. is going to be the same. Whether they waive a Hunter Pence, whether they waive a Joe Panic, whether they waive a Pablo Sandoval, again, there's names to be tossed out. For me, again, being a Giants fan, loving that team, I think it's time. This experiment it's well past. Again, with the core, the solid core, at least the big names of, again, with a Pence, with Panic, a few others, Brandon Belt. I don't think
you got
Belt
Longoria under contract now.
Well, I get that. I don't think he's moving anytime soon. McCutchen is anticipated to be waived as well too. That was a rumor mill that McCutchen will not be a Giant after this season. But I think with the experiments, again, trying to be aggressive in the offseason, it did not pan. Obviously, injuries plagued this team throughout, as we're still seeing right now, even towards the tail end of the season. I think right now for the Giants and also, too, for the Nationals, it's, what you have isn't working. You had the taste, or at least for the Giants' sake, again, you had the taste of those 3 championships with the core that you did. It's not doing it anymore. I think it's time to start anew.
Well, here's my question to you then with Buster Posey. And not that Buster is oft injured, but he does, as of late, get those nagging injuries.
Well, I think that's more so why they've moved him for catcher again, why they've removed him from that position and said, hey, take some first.
Is he going to replace a Brandon Belt? Because, again, Nick Hundley's only under a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
Nobody's coming up from Sacramento to, take over Buster Posey's position. Evan Longoria is aging. Do you do the experiment with Buster at third base like they did with Johnny Bench many years ago?
Maybe.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, again,
I anticipate in the offseason that the Giants, you're going to see new faces. You're not, again, this solid team of what we've known for quite some time is not going to be there. Whether it is Samardzija moving on, Cueto, I'm assuming, is going to move on. That bullpen absolutely needs to move on. But again, some of the big names, for instance, Hunter Pence, who's been solid. He's had injuries.
He's aging.
He is showing his age right now. Again, with a Joe Panic, with a Brandon Belt, for me, you have to come to realize that this team coming next season is going to be something with fresh faces. Whether that is call-ups from Sacramento or either getting trades throughout or finding pieces in the offseason, I anticipate it's going to be a new Giants team for next season.
I want to move on to football, and then we're going to lead into something else here that Nick has put together. And again, this is our 1-year anniversary, Pops and Son, and I'm kind of proud of that fact that we are the only dad-son radio combination across the U.S. doing this.
Yeah.
Sports Talk today. Again, I can't believe it's already been a year. That's how fast time has flown. But I want to mention this. We are fans of the 49ers, and the 49ers took extra precaution and held them out of last week's preseason game against the Houston Texans. Cornerback Richard Sherman anticipates playing a little bit against the Indianapolis Colts. So we'll get our first look at Richard Sherman in 49er garb.
Again, it's preseason.
I know, but but they've kept them out. And again,
they should keep out all starters from preseason because again, they run the risk of injury or
what happened to AJ McCarron.
Exactly, that's why I'm saying don't touch Jimmy G. Why even? He's a starter. Why even expose him to that again? To get live simulation.
You got to put him in some game. You have to.
Guess what? You put him in game 1.
Well, no, you have to throw some game.
You do what you're doing in the high school ranks again with Cheyenne East. Guess what? They're not playing preseason games. No, week 0. No, they're going to go up to Campbell County and go take on the Camels. They don't have a preseason.
Yeah, so high school preseason in high school anymore.
Exactly. So if high season
they used to have a preseason back in the day.
Well, they don't have it anymore. So hey, NFL, why do we need a preseason?
Well, and one thing too, Sherman did add.
All you're doing is just running the risk for these starters to get in.
I know, but Sherman has, through about July, I think he had a low-grade hamstring strain that cost him the preseason opener, and then correct me if I'm wrong, he had some Achilles problems last year. So,
something like that.
Yeah, he's bouncing back from a couple of various injuries, but he's hoping that his hamstring will hold up in the contest against the Colts. All right, so we were talking about high school football. We threw that in there quickly. And I'm really glad I've got information finally on Central as well as Thunder Basin, so I'll have that chance to do a little prepping here over the next 24 hours plus. But we will be doing something very special fingers crossed, everything will go well. Do we
It
anticipate?
should.
Do we anticipate a bug happening? Oh, I've done so many football games. I know exactly that something could go awry.
That's why I'm not guaranteeing all, but we will try to do.
And we will
most.
be out at Risky Field. Our pregame show 6:30. That is the timetable set for our pregame kickoff. Will be at 7. Myself, Chris Bolton, and Nick Perotti will be there. Nick will be doing the extra technical portion of the program. Take it away.
Technical, at least do want to announce, as we've done on our social media side, but we will, as we are right now with Wyoming Sports Talk today, on a visual side with Periscope and YouTube, but we will take that visual side and add it to our 1480 K-Rate broadcast. That includes with Cheyenne East football and basketball, Cheyenne South football and basketball, Cheyenne Central football and basketball, where we do have those teams scheduled, along with also to LCCC men's and women's basketball coming up this season. We will be broadcasting our games that will be on 1480 K-Rate live with that audio, but we'll add the video portion on our 1480 K-Rate YouTube channel, which you can go over and subscribe. It is completely free. You just sign up for an account, or hell, you can just go over and just watch it. We don't care, because again, it's completely free. But head on over again if you want to watch the game. If you're not able to make it out to a Risky Field, or when we go up to Casper to go see Kelly Walsh take on Cheyenne South, again, join us on that visual side. Come out, watch those games alongside with us. Again, we're going to put on a professional, at least production value. Again, it's not going to be NFL quality, but we're going to do something again where
we will go to the replay.
I don't have that capability at this point in time, but again, we'll have a working scoreboard and everything like that with logos. Again, we're going to try and make it as professional as we can, and again, live stream along with the audio broadcasts that we're already doing, but again, we're adding that visual side as well too, coming up for the season and into the future as well.
All right.
And again, hopefully week 0 coming up this Friday, we'll have it all set in stone. We have all the pieces. It's just making sure that
you know what's going to happen. You're going to have that broadcast, and people are going to hear me and see that I'm 10 plays behind. Oh, geez.
There will be a delay. It happens, obviously, but
no, I'm going to be 10 plays behind even the pictures. San Antonio Spurs guard Manu Ginobili, who I think is going to be a Hall of Famer, is seriously considering retirement and plans to meet with Papa in the coming days to discuss his future, according to league sources. Ginobili, at age 41, has been working out with the Spurs at their facility. Hasn't made a final decision, but sources are saying he is strongly confronting the possibility to a historic 16-year career ending it.
Finally. Took him long enough.
Well, again,
not say again. It's more of a joke, but Manu Ginobili, he's showing a little bit of slowdown in his career. We saw that with last season. It's a player where you go, yeah, you need to retire Manu, but then he goes out and puts on a great performance in a few contests throughout the season. But a Hall of Famer, not a first ballot. I think he is a Hall of Famer, but. Yeah, it would be interesting to see.
And then another basketball note here. This is from the Big O, Oscar Robertson. His 1971 NBA championship ring has sold for a little more than $91,000 at an auction.
So
the ring the Hall of Fame guard won with Milwaukee when he tag teamed with.
It should be worth more because you won't see another championship in Milwaukee anytime soon.
No, yeah, and this was for his only NBA title, the top seller from a collection of items in Lelands.com 2018 invitational auction. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Why is that guy selling a championship ring?
Some of them do it. It's more so if they just. I don't want to speak
charity.
I don't know. It's just what are you gonna do with it? Some of them don't really care about it. It's like, hey, I already have the memory of winning the championship. I don't need this little trinket thing of commemorating. I don't know. I don't. Who knows? Who knows why people do anything?
There's no reason why that he's selling or had the ring sold. All right, we got to wrap the program up. So I want to remind you. Coming up this evening from 8 until 9,